Hello, today I want to talk about this Canon camera. It's a Canon Rebel XT, a whopping 8 megapixels, and it's an SLR camera. And it works, it's kind of interesting how it works. You have to actually look through the viewfinder to be able to take a photo. And of course, with a kit lens in it, it does have automatic focus, and of course, I can do manual with it. Finding the different buttons on it's a little bit different than my T3i, which I love my T3i. I thought, well, if I get an older camera, it's going to force me to actually have to look through the viewfinder and not through the screen because it doesn't have a live screen here. You can see after the fact. And the screen is very small. It's kind of hard to even tell if it's a good picture or not. It can shoot RAW, and definitely you get more information if you're shooting RAW. Roughly the size of the 8 megapixel, roughly about 3 megs. And it's about 8 or 12 megs potentially on the RAW side of it. And so it's an interesting camera. I can use all the lenses that I use when I'm on T3i with it. So I can use even some of the prime Nikon lenses that I have with adapters as well. And it's a good camera. It's an interesting camera. Basically you have to know about your exposures, your shutter speed, your ISO to be able to get that perfect triangle to get a shot that's in focus. Then you want to make sure, well, I like my shots typically to be a little bit more dark than normal, so I have to underexpose them to be able to make it the way I want it. But it's an interesting way to take photos, and it's definitely very fascinating in all aspects of it. So anyways, if you want to kind of experiment around with SLR cameras, this is not a bad one. Again, today, you know, they have 22 megapixel cameras, so megapixel wise, you're not going to blow it up, to the size of a wall. But 8 by 10s very easily with this, and that's probably most of y'all. It's probably the biggest you're going to blow up anyways. It's a good camera. It's a fun camera. If you can find these, relatively inexpensive. I was able to get the body relatively inexpensive, and had a lens, and I actually had a battery from a camcorder that I used, and I'm ready to go out there and shoot some pictures at 8 megapixels. And again, my theory is that if I can take good pictures over this one here, that when I go to my T3i or with a camera down the line, I don't have to rely only on the live view. I can actually rely on looking at something. And this is kind of a close, kind of a hybrid between digital and film, because film was the same way. You didn't have a live view. You had to take a picture and, I guess in some ways hope that you did a good job, you made it correctly. So anyways, this is a Canon Rebel XT, 8 megapixels, and basically most of the functionalities of any SLR camera in it. And if you want to try to get into it, you can find this for relatively inexpensive. It's not a bad camera to start off with. And the one thing that I don't like as much is it uses compact flash, and I'm always afraid about those pins. Those pins, I've seen cameras before that they're becoming useless because the pins in there breaking. It's very difficult to go and fix those. So I like the SD cards better. But other than that, it's a fun camera. And I got a 1 gig card in here, which is enough for a ton of pictures. When I shoot RAW, it does go through them pretty quick. So anyways, rock and roll, everybody. Yeah.